Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Actually, I'm back. Good to see you all. Yes, I can see you through the magic of television. But yes, good to see you all once again. I've been with no DQ panels left and right, doing things here and there, prepping more stuff to record as the future goes on and on and on. But welcome to episode 14 of Gabbin with Oof. I am your host, your friendly neighborhood Oof man. And thank you so much for those who have checked out the previous videos before. I really do appreciate it. And again, as I do things always live and try to do it all in one take, making sure everything's working, and it is. So, what we're going to gab about today is, as of this recording, the Elimination Chamber was last night. And now this very rocky road to WrestleMania is continuing. But with the Elimination Chamber out of the way, hopefully now the focus can be on now WrestleMania. And for those of you who've been watching Raw and SmackDown lately, it's been a little bit of a bore. And could it be that they're just waiting for the chamber to get out of the way, which they finally have? Like I said, 24 hours ago was the chamber. So now there's a positive and a negative that we're going to gab about today on this episode. Is that, like, now what? Now that the chamber is done, can WWE put their 100% attention on Mania and give it that spark that it needs, that oomph, that shot of tequila, whatever it is that they need to make Mania interesting? Because right now the attention is on WWE, because like I said, Mania is on its way, April 18th and 19th, but today's date is March 1st, and I just said April 18 and 19. That's 7 weeks, if I'm correct, away from WrestleMania. So we're going to recap the chamber real fast, and then we're going to gab about what this is all about, the rocky road to WrestleMania. So again, last night was the chamber, 4 matches. Pay-per-view was all right, nothing too excited. If you missed it, really, you didn't miss much. You could just go on any website and read the results. Go on YouTube, Daily Motion, and just check out the matches or a recap of it. So let's recap it real fast. So it started off first with the women's Elimination Chamber match, won by Rhea Ripley. More on that later. She will challenge Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. Again, more on that later. After that was Becky Lynch defending her women's IC title against the returning AJ Lee in her adopted hometown. Everyone's like, it's AJ Lee's hometown. Nah, she's a Jersey girl, all right? Union City represent, a couple minutes from my house. She's from Jersey. And AJ became the new women's IC champion. Cool. More on that later. We then had the World Heavyweight Championship match. CM Punk defending his title against Finn Balor. So with that name, you can guess who won. And last but not least was the men's Elimination Chamber match, won by a shocking win by Randy Keith Orton. So interesting twist there at the end. So again, overall, and let's not forget the mighty mystery box. What's inside the box? The box. Danhausen. Moving on. All right. So that was the chamber. Now, so it was, again, like I said, all right pay-per-view. I wouldn't, lose my brain if you don't get to watch it. Like I said, watch a recap or just listen to me. I just gave you the recap there anyway. So now, what to talk about? So what we're going to get about is this. So WrestleMania is now the big focus. It's the big show of the year. And if you've been reading reports, check it out, nodq.com for those reports. And you'll notice that tickets are still selling slow. They're not at where they were last year at this time for Vegas, WrestleMania in Vegas. But clearly, I'm sure the $250 for nosebleed tickets have something to do with it. So, but also it has to be the card as well. There's no hype. There's no spark. There's no pizzazz to Mania this year that I'm not shocked at all that the tickets are selling very, very slow. Good. Let this be a message to TKO and WWE, mostly TKO. They're the business guys. But I want to focus more on the card itself. So let's go. We're going to be jumping in between the chamber and what's going to come, and some announcements that were made after the fact of the pay-per-view last night. The PLE last night. So let's start off first with the women's chamber. So we got Rhea Ripley winning the chamber, challenging Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Cool. I originally had, I'm not going to say her name because she's going to light up. So Miss Bliss, we'll call her. I had Miss Bliss actually winning that match so they could set up her and Jade, but then I'm sure Charlotte would want to be involved in there. And that could have led to perhaps a triple threat match between Miss Bliss, Charlotte, and Jade. But now you throw Rhea versus Jade in there. And honestly, again, since she was my number one pick, I picked Rhea to win. Yay. So go me. But now it's like, all right, Jade versus Rhea. And I know there are reports already that fans, again, on X, which is a cesspool, but whatever, it's there for everyone's entertainment, are all angry, like, oh, of course, Rhea is in the title match. But honestly, and again, as much as I wanted Miss Bliss to win that match as well, Rhea is the best that could go at it because I think she's the best that can get a great match out of Jade. Jade is still, sorry, she is still green. She's just blah. And who can give her a good match that could hide her, let's say, her lackluster wrestling ability? Who can like sell for her? Who can lead the match? Who could be the general in that match? Rhea is probably the best of all of them. No offense to Miss Bliss, and probably perhaps Charlotte would have done it too. But out of the women of the chamber, Rhea won, and I went, all right, yay, I got my 2 points. But I think now Rhea can give Jade a good match. Now, as far as who would win, we're not there yet. We got to think about that much, much later. But now the problem I see here with the chamber is, again, and you're going to hear me repeat it through all these matches, and we're going to fantasy book and all that, is that, again, Mania is not till night one is not till April 18. Like I said, today is March 1st, almost 7 weeks. That's 7 Raws and 7 SmackDowns till WrestleMania. And the problem is with the Chamber and Mania being so separate and far away from each other is that they're so far away where it's like we're going to have 7 weeks of Rhea and Jade just jacking it over and over again, blah, 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 blah. Their promos, Jade's all right on the mic. Rhea's pretty good, but Jade, So now the question is, can they make it entertaining to hold us for these 7 weeks till we get to WrestleMania? And I don't know what night their match is going to be. Is it going to be night 1 or night 2? So again, a problem that we're going to see with everything else I'm predicting and we're talking about is that they got to move. I think they have to move the Chamber and Mania back closer to each other, or throw in maybe, because I don't think there's one listed. Somebody in the comments can correct me. I don't know if there is like a Saturday night's main event from between now and WrestleMania. So the question is, can they keep our attention? And again, this is going to affect all the matches we're going to talk about as well. Again, fantasy booking for Mania and possible predictions there, but not really. But work with me, people. Work with me. So that's the thing. Can they hold this attention? Or are we going to get to Mania and be like, let's get this over with? Come on, choppy to chop chop. Who knows? But that's my problem. One of the big problems I see right now is there's way too much time between the Chamber and Mania. I think they need to squeeze them a little bit more together, where let's say the Chamber happens and then it's like, all right, we got 4 weeks left for Mania. Okay, 4 weeks can work, or 3 weeks till Mania. All right, 3 weeks can work. But as of right now, I believe there's 7 shows, Raw and SmackDown, before Mania. That is a long time. So that match is set. So Jade and Rhea, fine. I got no complaints. What's going to happen to Io? I don't know. Who knows? So let us move on from that. Next match to talk about from the Chamber into Mania is we had the IC title. Like I said, AJ Lee is the new women's IC champion. Again, since AJ doesn't seem to be a full-timer, she's one who can probably drop the belt between now and Mania for match number 2 against Becky, and then you have the trilogy at WrestleMania. That makes sense to me, because if AJ's not going to show up and then she randomly shows up here and there, and then on that one random day she shows up and again she drops the title, okay, cool. Becky wins it back again, and then maybe AJ wins it back at Mania. Or do you just spiral it and go, you know what? All right, Becky and AJ, let's put them on the side a little bit, focus on someone else. Jessica Carr was the referee last night at the Chamber match, so they haven't really touched upon Becky and Jessica Carr. So do you go to that? Do you bring back Becky complaining about Jessica, and then between now and Mania, you have Jessica versus Becky at a big Raw show, maybe at the MSG. That seems to be the biggest show from now to Mania in the schedule. Do you do Jessica Carr versus Becky Lynch there, and then somehow that's how Becky gets a rematch against AJ at Mania? Who knows? So there's that as well. But again, all this time in between, they got to really keep our attention on that. The World Heavyweight title, again, I love Finn Balor as much as everybody does, but he wasn't going to beat CM Punk. Not only not take the title away from him before Mania, but not in Chicagoland where the Chamber was. So when it comes to the World Heavyweight title, we know it's going to be Punk. We know it's going to be Roman Reigns, but that's the thing. 7 weeks to go. I don't even know if Roman's showing up in all those Raws between now and Mania. I think he's only showing up like 5 of them, I think, or 4. So again, I put no offense because it's a couple minutes from my house, but MSG seems to be like that should be a big Raw with these big, how do I want to put it? I would say these stipulations, I guess, or these possible effects to Mania on that focus on that Garden show, because it is Madison Square Garden. It's the mecca of wrestling. It's the home turf for them. So do you do a match with Punk and the title and someone who could pin him? Who knows? But again, so much time between now and WrestleMania there. And now for the men's chamber match. And now again, this one's a little bit more better than everybody else. So to recap a little bit, again, it's not much of a spoiler alert, but spoiler alert if you haven't watched the chamber, but I already told you who won. So, but let's see how we got there. So the match happened, and again, surprise, surprise, the masked man showed up again, trying to interfere in the match, but all the security guys got him, and they were escorting him out of the way. But of course, as the security guards were dealing with one masked man, here came another masked man because the door of the chamber was open, so he let himself in. He beat the crap out of Logan Paul. Curb stomped him. Cody pinned him. 1, 2, 3, got the pin. And then when Cody looked up at the masked man took off his mask, and it was Senor Seth Rollins is apparently back. He's healed. Again, all these weeks to go to WrestleMania, he can chill and relax. So there was that. But again, though, the door was open to let Logan Paul leave the ring. But as he was leaving, enter Mr. Drew McIntyre with the WWE title, hits Cody in the back of the head. He attacks Cody, but now Randy wakes up. He attacks Drew. We get an RKO to Drew, and then we get Cody doing his move on Drew. But that was the distraction that Randy needed. Then Randy RKO's Cody, and Randy pinned the new John Cena, Cody Rhodes, in the ring. And now Randy Orton is going to face Drew at WrestleMania. ... After the show, Nick Aldis said in a shocking announcement, a big spoiler here, not much, but whatever. He said this Friday on SmackDown on March 6th, it'll be, due to what happened in the match, it'll be Cody versus Drew for the WWE title. Interesting. Again, they have all this time between now and Mania. They're stirring the pot a little bit of what could happen. So what can happen? This is fantasy booking continuation here. So what I think should happen, would be cool, is it'll be Drew and Cody on Friday on SmackDown for the title. But then Jacob Fatu throws his wrench in there and he ruins the party, and he somehow gets a double DQ, or they just throw the match out. And so now Cody, just like Jacob, could be like, hey, I got screwed out of the WWE title match. I had it won, or I got screwed out of it. Nick Aldis, what are you going to do? Jacob is still owed. He got screwed out of the chamber match itself, and he got penalized as well by everybody. So you got 2 guys right there that would want a heavyweight championship match. You got Randy Orton, who's already guaranteed a match because he won the chamber, and then you have Drew the champion. So my prediction for Mania, early prediction, is I think it'll be a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. But again, you have all this time that hopefully they will take their time telling it. But I hope this doesn't all happen on Friday. Like, let's say the match happens, Jacob interferes. Nick Aldis runs in. He goes, okay, at WrestleMania, it's going to be you four in the match. It's like, dude, come on. This is where it's like, all right, patience is kind and all that jazz. But there, I hope, is where they realize, like, all right, if we're going to make it a multi-man match, which I think they should, there, like, hopefully they schedule the creative enough where they can expand it through these weeks and not rush to the making of the match. So for instance, like Punk and Roman, we've had that since the Rumble. That was January. Again, we're already in March and we're waiting all this time to get to Mania to get them to wrestle. Right now, all it's going to be is promos because we know Roman doesn't wrestle and Punk rarely wrestles. So already that train is on molasses. Like, all right, it's getting to Mania, but it's not there yet. As far as the WWE title goes, there's so many, that literally has so many ways it can go that you can stretch it from now to WrestleMania. Hopefully, again, like I said, they don't jump to it this Friday. Like, again, Nick Aldis just goes, okay, all you guys complaining about a title match, yes, it's a 6-pack challenge, it's a 5-man challenge at WrestleMania. Then now you have to fill, again, SmackDown is 3 hours. You have 6 to 7 shows of 3 hours each to fill, and none of them can touch themselves. When it comes to wrestling, they cannot fight, they cannot hit each other, they cannot touch their nose. It's like, no, nothing until WrestleMania. Oh boy. So SmackDown right now is looking more like they can take advantage of this long stretch between now and WrestleMania. With that, again, I am predicting that there will be a multi-man match for the WWE title. I'm predicting a 4-way: Drew, Cody, Randy, and Jacob. Now, some people are saying, wait, what about Mr. Sami Zayn? Sami can take a seat. Sammy's time is not right now. The thing is, Sami can also throw his wrench in the match on Friday as well, because lately on SmackDown, we've been seeing Sami slowly but surely start losing his marbles. And then he can go on a rampage as well, where he's like, well, I'm owed, or I deserve justice, blah, 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 blah. So, but will Sami go into the match this year? No, I don't think he will. Sami can be taken care of some other way against somebody else who I have no idea. A little back to another guy we mentioned about Finn Balor. What happens to Finn Balor? Again, from now to WrestleMania, since there's so much time, I do believe the breakup of the Judgment Day will happen. And at WrestleMania, we will have Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. Dominic is basically going to be the new leader of the Judgment Day. He may lead the exodus, let's call it, of Senor Balor out of the Judgment Day. And that could start on Monday. Tomorrow, Monday Night Raw, and tomorrow for March 2nd. That the breakup can start then. You can start with that then, because then let's say they attack Finn. He's hurt. He's gone for a couple weeks. Again, for some reason, I'm thinking Madison Square Garden. Finn makes his grand return. He does something. Well, Mysterio, I believe, is fighting Penta for the IC title. I don't think Penta's going to win it, though, because then again, the thing is with Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio, it can be for the title or it cannot be for the title. It could be either or. So maybe Finn costs Dominic the title, but do you reward Penta? Penta hasn't done anything to get an IC title. So I say Dominic retains. I say the Judgment Day helps Dominic retain, but Finn doesn't show up. So Dom's going to be angry already there. And again, that snowball begins to grow to WrestleMania. And again, maybe at Madison Square Garden, the nail in the coffin for Finn is there, where the Judgment Day deletes him out of the group. And then a week or two later, again, still time before Mania, finally it's announced it's Dominic versus Finn Balor for the IC title. Again, if Penta wins and does take the title, Dom and Finn can still happen without the title, because that match is happening. And now another Mania match to gab about would be the Brock Lesnar challenge. So a couple weeks ago on Raw, Brock did his little bouncy bounce thing while Paul Heyman talked. And behind him on the screen, they showed all the dates that Brock Lesnar was going to show up. Oh, God bless you, Brock. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Anyway, that's TKO saying, you want to see Brock jump for 30 seconds? So you want to see him for 30 seconds and pay $300 for nosebleed tickets? Here are your dates. Anyway, I digress. So Who is going to answer the challenge? Originally, some people were saying LA Knight, but after the Chamber, go back and watch the Chamber. You see LA Knight there. LA Knight, I think, is officially Dunsky. He is done. Again, botches happen in matches. I get it, but I think the creative guy, I think Hunter and everybody in the back was like, you know what? All right, we gave LA Knight a shot here in the Chamber. We knew he was going to win, but they were like, all right, I think this was it. They were like, all right, the writing's on the wall. Pull out the hammer, clunk, clunk, clunk. He is done. I don't know what's going to happen to LA Knight. AEW, maybe we'll see. But who answers the Brock Lesnar challenge? Everyone's saying whoever it is probably asking for a death sentence. Well, yeah, it's just weird. Like, who would actually want to step up to Lesnar? It's different if Lesnar attacked somebody and said, like, I choose you or something like that. But here it's the reverse. Now, Lesnar is saying, bring it to somebody. Odds are saying it's Obafemi. My whole thing is, if you put Obafemi in there with Brock Lesnar, I say you have Obafemi win. Because it just makes sense. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, sure. Two beasts going at it, sure. But have Oba win. Another one people are talking about is Gunther. My thing is, sure, ... at SummerSlam. If Gunther is the new retirement general who retires everybody, we have Gunther versus Lesnar at SummerSlam, which is in Minnesota. And if there he can pull what he did with AJ, it's like, you know what? I like this whole career ender guy. He's like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. He has Goldberg, he has John Cena, he has AJ Styles. He's gonna go for the one in the thumb, and he'll challenge, or Lesnar might challenge him if I guess Lesnar goes kind of face-ish, or Paul Heyman does it. Like, you want Lesnar, you got it, but then Lesnar can accept it and all that, but then Gunther will be like, no. Yeah, I'll take the match, one condition, and then he brings up the career. Like, I'll fight you at SummerSlam if you put your career on the line. And of course, everyone's gonna laugh. So like, oh, because it's Brock Lesnar. He'll destroy people. He does. That's what he does. But this is Gunther. This is his new shtick. Again, collecting those stones. He wants the gauntlet filled with retired souls, I guess. And so Lesnar and Gunther at SummerSlam. Lesnar and Oba at Mania? Sure. So there's a couple matches we just spoke about right there. And again, the card hopefully will come together as we progress, but history has shown us that WWE doesn't just really not put pen to paper, and they just go by what it pops in their head and they don't even think about it. Again, this is the problem with guaranteed contracts. They got their contract, their streaming service contract. I'm sure Vegas already paid them. The check has been signed, it's been deposited, and it's been cleared. Why do they need to put the effort when they got paid already? Think back to, let's say, 30 years ago, 1996, the mid-90s, when they relied on the tickets, when they relied on those house shows and those Raws. They relied on the pay-per-view, not only tickets for the people in the arena, but the streams as well, the pay-per-view buys. They lived and breathed and died by those numbers. They don't have that problem anymore. They're making money hand over fist. Blindly, they're making money. So why does creative have to give a F? They don't. But we, the fans, we're seeing the need to give an F, because if you don't give an F, why should we? Why should we put the effort to watch? Why should we put the effort and our resources to go see these shows when WWE's not doing their part on it? Again, all this time between now and Mania, I hope they wake up and realize, like, all right, it's the biggest show of the year. Tickets aren't selling as they should. I mean, I won't be shocked if they start giving buy one, get 20 tickets 5% off. I don't know, some crazy thing. Again, like I spoke last time for SummerSlam with the No DQ crew, I went to WWE night at Citi Field, and they always do contests for like concert tickets, and usually get like two. Like, all right, I don't know, Bon Jovi's coming, and all right, now answer this quiz question, and they get it right. And they're like, congratulations, you and a friend, or you hear 2 tickets to insert event coming towards the area. Cool. So me and my crew were there, and we're like, all right, there was a random kid they chose. It was easy questions. And they got them all right. And they're like, congratulations, we're giving you 4 tickets to WWE SummerSlam. I was like, yeah? They gave them 4 free tickets. I was like, shiitake mushroom, dude. They were desperate to fill MetLife Stadium for 2 nights. Yes, last year was the first SummerSlam of 2 nights. So I won't be surprised. And maybe at a Golden Knights game from now till Mania, you answer a simple question on the jumbo screen. Here you go, kid. You and 8 other people are going to WrestleMania. And they give the kid 8 to 10 free tickets. It's like, what? Because WWE doesn't have to put in the effort anymore. And if anybody saw the Chamber last night, there you go. And Triple H, he's a smart little whippersnapper. If anybody didn't catch it last night, Triple H did not go to the post-show interview area outside where all the fans are, and Big E and those other 2 guys whose name escaped me at the moment. I never watched, but I keep forgetting their name. The post-show host and Big E, they're always outside, and the fans are screaming their disapproval. Who was missing? Mr. Paul Levesque. Where was he? He was being interviewed inside the arena. Unagi. Paul is a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. But if you want to put your face out there, if you're all over the advertisements for everything, including WrestleMania, you're putting your face out when they were in rehab for the Rumble, when he is just out there loving the attention, going like, yeah, hi, I'm in charge. You got to take the good with the bad, man. You got to take the flowers, and you got to take the bullets as well. So that was smart of Triple H of not going outside, because the fans seemed unhappy. And I have really nothing to add or say about Danhausen. He's in WWE. Good luck. So, Chris Jericho didn't show up. Cool. I have a feeling, wild prediction for Jericho, I don't think he shows up till after WrestleMania. He let his Fozzy tour go through, let Mania happen, and then maybe that Raw after Mania, where it's lost its lack of excitement for that Raw after Mania, because everything now happens at Mania, and Mania is 2 nights now. So it's like, where's the feeling? Like, I remember, I didn't go to it, but old Izod here in the old Continental Airlines, that's when what's his face? I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. He beat Del Rio for Dolph Ziggler. Thank you. My brain just farted there. Dolph Ziggler cashed in. That was the night of the cash-ins, where everything happened at the night after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania. So maybe Chris Jericho shows up there. Who knows? But again, my hope is, again, from now till WrestleMania, again, 7, I believe it's 7 shows from now, 7 Raws, 7 SmackDowns, that they get some kick in their rear to fire themselves up to make these shows interesting. Because yes, we are going to watch. Yes, I'm going to watch. But you want the journey to be fun as much as the final destination. The journey should be hooking all us in with this excitement to get to the destination. Right now, my GPS is dead, and I'm fine with that. It's calculating, and I'm like, nah, take your time. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the excitement for WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm sure the stage is going to look great. Yeah, I'm sure they will get close to a sellout. But again, this whole big separation of time between the Chamber and Mania, it's going to drag. But time is flying. Like I said, it's already March 1st. The year is already 3 months in. When we blink, it's going to be April. It's going to be April, and then here comes WrestleMania. But where is the excitement? I'll show you how times have changed. So let's go back. Good Lord, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but let's go back 25 years ago. Ooh, hold on a second, because I'm going to cry. Okay, let's go back 25 years ago, starting at the Rumble. Actually, I'm going to make it worse now. Let's go back 26 years ago to the fall of 2000. Oh my goodness, I am old. Moving on. So what was happening? Austin came back after being gone a year. Who ran over Stone Cold? He came back a year later. We found out it was Rikishi. I did it for The Rock. He came back. But all eyes were targeted on the Rumble. Can Austin fulfill his dream of going back to the main event of WrestleMania? So Royal Rumble 2001, he did it. Austin won the Rumble. Kurt Angle was the champion. And it's like, all right, Kurt versus Austin should still be a good match. But The Rock was there, still bugging Angle and all that. So we now moved into February. I believe it was February where No Way Out was, where The Rock won. And now WrestleMania was on April 1st that year. But I think the Chamber, listen to me, No Way Out was towards the end of February. So we only really had about 4 weeks between the pay-per-view before the Mania was about 4 weeks. So that's not bad. So we had 4 weeks of Rock and Austin teasing each other. Rock and Austin, again, Rock did the stunner on Austin. Austin did the rock bottom on The Rock. They at the time, Austin and Deborah were married. So they put Deborah as The Rock's manager in there, another twist to the storyline. So all that anticipation, they knew how to, let's just say, kill time between pay-per-views. And then we finally got to, which I and many in the whole world of the internet of wrestling says it was the greatest WrestleMania of all time, which it was. I think so. WrestleMania 17. And we got to WrestleMania 17. But not only was WrestleMania great, and again, the greatest ever, I believe, again, the journey was fun. And not just Austin and Rock. Think of the other matches that were there. Regal and Jericho. Sure, you could say it started with comedy with Jericho peeing in Regal's tea, but that was funny because Jericho's Jericho. He's one of the GOATs, my opinion. But they made it interesting. Angle and Benoit. Say what you want about Benoit, whatever. We're not going to get into that. Let's talk about the superstar of him. They were on each other's throats going, who is the best real technical wrestler? And hell, if I knew, because I'm like, I can't choose Angle or Benoit. You can't go wrong with either or. Even remember the RTC? Yeah, even their match with the APA got the attention because the RTC were being pains in the rears. And here come these big bad guys that will kick the living snots out of you, the APA. And they would have single matches here and there. They would have run-ins, but it anticipated you and it built. And then we got to the match at WrestleMania. Ivory versus China. Their journey started months before, but again, though, they kept us hooked in and interested. And we all knew that Ivory was going to lose, and the match was barely a couple minutes long. And there you go. China destroyed Ivory. Where do you leave Undertaker versus Triple H? After, I believe after the No Way Out is where, again, that's where that started. Again, they had about 4 to 5 weeks from No Way Out to WrestleMania, but that started hot. We went right into it. And this was the time when it was Raw and SmackDown, same roster. So, but whatever, it's almost the same thing. But they kept their attention. They got the restraining order on The Undertaker. Kane kidnaps Stephanie. He's holding her above the head. And Taker's like, I want a match with Hunter. And Regal does it. But they kept us hooked. And Undertaker and Taker and Triple H kept teasing each other, kept going at each other. Then finally, the straw that broke the camel's back was when Triple H destroyed Taker's bike. Again, all that was great buildup. And where do we leave TLC 2? The Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. They would have one-on-one matches, one member of each team against each other, or the two teams versus another, one team versus another. They will switch next week, but they would always keep us hooked. They would tease us with ladders, tables, and chairs till we finally got to WrestleMania with the TLC match. So there's an example, again, starting 26 years ago, where they just knew what they were doing. Then again, yes, someone's probably thinking, well, oof, that was the Attitude Era. They couldn't do no wrong. Yes, but even at that time when they bought WCW and they really had no competition, they still put the effort into it. Again, remember, they didn't buy WCW until like the week or two before WrestleMania. And so they destroyed WCW years ago. They started beating them in 2000, I believe, is when, or end of 99, early 2000s when WWE took over. But they put the effort into it. And then especially when it came to WrestleMania. After WrestleMania 2000, they knew, all right, we screwed this up. We got to fire back at 17. And they did. And so here we are now in 2026. But the times have changed because they have guaranteed billion-dollar guaranteed contracts. So why put the effort into it? It's almost like you go into a job And if you don't do your job well, you'll get paid. But if the company goes, you know what, we're not liking your productivity or anything like that, they'll boot you, or your pay will go gray, or you'll lose your title and you'll go down one level in the corporate ladder of things. Here, they got their billions from ESPN. They got their billions from Netflix, Fox. I forgot how much they're giving to them. Peacock and all. They already got their money. So why should they're just sitting back going like, okay, that's this guy versus this guy. Okay, that sounds cool. Why? Again, logic says if you already got your billions, why put the effort in? Well, as a fan, because of me and you guys and everybody else watching wrestling, put the effort in so we can all enjoy the ride. And again, this rocky road to WrestleMania, like I said, my GPS is calculating and I'm telling it, shh, it's okay, no rush, because there is no spark, there is no umph. Where is the Sazon Goya in this where I'm going like, yeah, WrestleMania. April 18th is going to arrive. I'm going to be like, all right, I'll have some people over, be like, all right, there's the food. All right, guys, let's watch Mania. That's how I'm feeling right now. They have all this time to hopefully light that fire, change that fuse and get it going, because I understand star power is a little low, but that's still no excuse where you can't give us an exciting and engaging ride along to the destination, which is WrestleMania. And again, unfortunately, with the way that the product is moving, and I brought up SummerSlam last year, and I'll bring it up again, Mania is losing its spark because all of their PLEs now are these grandeur things. Like they're not going, it's not like, again, going back more than 26 years, actually 36 years ago would be it, in the mid 90s, when they introduced the In Your Houses. We knew January, it's the Rumble. In your house, WrestleMania, in your house, in your house, in your house, King of the Ring, in your house, SummerSlam, in your house, in your house, Survivor Series, in your house. That's how that was the formula back then, which was fine. No biggie. The best in your house, in my opinion, for obvious reasons, Canadian Stampede, 1997. But 97 was a great year for pay-per-views. They were killing it. Every pay-per-view was dang good. I mean, look who was the champion back then. Anyway. So, but again, you can still do with the little that you have, you could do great shows. But again, back in 1997, when Vince's back was against the wall, they had no choice but to produce great television, compelling television, getting you hooked to go, oh, I gotta tune in next week. Or I'm going to fork over $45 or $40, whatever the heck pay-per-views were. WrestleMania 13 was $50, if I recall. I don't remember. I'm going to pay it because I want to see Austin and Brett go at it. And they gave us, I think, the greatest WrestleMania of all time. But now you flash forward all these years later, the check is already in their hands. It's been deposited already. They already booked their vacation to Maui. Why care? And that's what I've been seeing. I've been feeling like they're just getting it done to get it done. Like, oh, we got a pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. Okay. Sure, there were exciting moments last night, but nothing that went like, come on, bro. It's like, enjoy the ride. Nothing like getting me hooked. I want to be hooked in. And some shows I miss, some shows I watch, some shows I watch recaps and all that. And then I go, okay. And again, I don't want to make excuses. Well, there's not many big stars or all these people that are getting injured. You can't do that, man. You got to get the audience hooked in. You got to get us wanting more. And unless you don't do that, again, even though you do have a lot of time between now and Mania, they got to do it. If not, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to watch WrestleMania and not even care for it. I want to care for WrestleMania. I think back to the WrestleManias again of the past, where it's like, it's WrestleMania Sunday. My head would explode and the matches happen regardless of who won or lost. It's like, it's WrestleMania. Now it's just like, it's WrestleMania. But again, though, because business has changed, like I said, SummerSlam is now 2 months. 2 months. Yeah, listen to me. WrestleMania is 2 nights. WrestleMania is 2 nights. SummerSlam is now 2 nights. Any day now, the Rumble will be 2 nights. Oh, it's coming. Money in the Bank will be 2 nights. Survivor Series will be 2 nights. I'm not against having the men's Rumble and the women's Rumble. Not against having the men's ladder match and the women's ladder match. Not against having the men's and women's War Games match to a point. But I made a big prediction in all these chats, these groups I'm part of. I said by the year 2030s, we are down to 4 years, folks. Cry. Let's all cry together. I said by 2030, by the year 2030, January 1st, 2030, that'll be the first. Well, no, correction. I said by January 1st, 2030, that whole entire PLE calendar will be 2 nights. All of them. When will they introduce the first 2-night Rumble? I don't know. Maybe next year. Maybe. I don't know. They haven't said it yet, but I'm going to say it in a couple years. But I'm predicting by 2030, the PLE schedule for WWE will be, every PLE will be 2 nights. And they will be attacking these ginormous stadiums. So now every show is not going to feel... WrestleMania will definitely lose its lackluster, its powerful name. Because they're not going to care. They're going to be like, all right, Royal Rumble, let's just say we'll be in Vegas. All right. In SoFi, no, that's Los Angeles. So SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Cool. 2 nights. All right. Then the Chamber match will be in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. 2 nights. Okay. Then WrestleMania that year, just for let's say wherever the Texans play, that stadium, 2 nights. All right, cool. SummerSlam, like let's say it comes back to Jersey, 2 nights at MetLife Stadium. Okay. Survivor Series, 2 nights at, I don't know, the TD Garden in Boston. And then the little dinky pay-per-views. Again, it's just they're thinking bigger and bigger and bigger, that every pay-per-view is not, every PLE is not going to feel special anymore. But that's just the name. That's the business of TKO. They are looking for the green. They're looking for the cash, and it's going to ruin something. And the way ticket sales are going and the prices that they're charging, eventually it's going to smack them in the heads. But they want to be in the green, not in the red, which is sad. All we can do as fans is continue to watch, support whatever I don't care what you watch. WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA, ROH, NXT, CMLL, AAA, whatever you watch it. But hopefully you're watching it because you're a fan and you love it. Don't be a schmuck online. That's all I ask. Don't be that. Just watch what you like. You can like this, you can like that. It doesn't bother me what anybody watches, but watch it because you passionately want to watch it. But hopefully we all talk without using words. So what I mean by that is, hopefully all fans realize these tickets are getting out of hand. We're not going to go. Oh, and also, if you remember, for the Chamber, WWE sent out a warning to, like, you couldn't have watch parties. That is stupid. Within like a 50-mile radius or something like that, like a restaurant couldn't hold a watch party. I don't know. That's just dumb. And that would be dumb if they come to the New York, New Jersey metro area. Like, there are so many bars around here that know, like, oh, it's wrestling, they'll watch it. But then you ban it because you couldn't sell tickets. That's on you, TKO. That's on you, WWE. Don't ruin it for us. If I want to go to a Dave & Buster's and host a WrestleMania party, let's say it's back here in MetLife Stadium, and it's WrestleMania, and I cannot afford your insane tickets, and I'm going to, like, you know what? Yeah, let me get some friends at Dave & Buster's. We'll get a big screen and we'll do. And then nope, you can't. No. Don't do that. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. It's your fault. You're charging an arm and a leg, and you're giving away tickets. Lots of tickets because of that. So we will see what will happen. Again, the Chamber is now out of the way. I am hopeful, but I'm also not hopeful. My hope is the size of a mustard seed. And I know what they say. If you have hope the size of a mustard seed, it can move mountains. But this mountain's pretty big. This mountain's in the middle of the road to WrestleMania, and I'm trying to go around it. But I hope somebody gives a crap. I hope they can give an effort, give a crap. And I hope they make these next weeks of television very intriguing, because I'm just going to get to WrestleMania and be like, all right, let's just get this over with. And that's a horrible attitude to have, especially for WrestleMania. So gab about it on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the rest of my videos. I got other videos planned coming as well. special guests to come around. I'm going to tackle more subjects, not just wrestling and pop culture as well. I'm going to attack music a lot. So if you got some music fans out there, again, check out my Michael list that I did for his top 10 songs of all time, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm going to attack more music videos are going to come along. So the next group that I'm going to talk about that I passionately love are those four mop tops from England, the Beatles. We're going to talk about them and their impact on the world. Future video as well. I'm going to mention one of the headlines that happened when it comes to this little show. It's pronounced Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I think. You may have heard of it. I don't know. A big news story of that. But a lot of videos I'm planning. A lot of things are changing around here, so just bear with me. But don't worry, I will come back with new videos. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button, subscribe to this, hit that notification bell so you can get notifications of when a new video come. And I promise you more videos are going to come in the future. Till then, be good to yourself, everybody around you. And of course, as always, God bless.